Wham! Talk 1600. You're catching the drift. Conservative talk. Intelligent conversations on local, state, and national issues with Gary Wellings, chief editor of the Current newspaper and Current Online. Join in the conversation at 734-822-1600. And now, your host, Gary Wellings.
And good Saturday afternoon. Thanks for tuning in to Catch Our Drift. Joining me in studio, Ipsy Ed Bonderenka.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and all the ships at sea.
But you got a sore throat, so you got to yell?
Oh, sorry. I didn't have my headphones on. Didn't know how loud I was.
I know, we both sound a little sick, so whatever I've got, I don't know if you've got the same thing, but man, it's tough to get rid of whatever it is. So, well, welcome to The Drift, and what we do every Saturday is go over the news that we put on thedailydrift.com. It's
the news you need to know.
Man, you're sounding rough, dude.
It's bad.
Did I sound that bad last week?
No.
Do I sound that
You
bad
didn't burn
this
your
week?
throat open, so.
Yeah, it's tough getting old, isn't it? Well, we got a ton of stuff to get through today, and we're going to try and get through it all. It's a big thing. We don't have Congressman Tim today. It's the first of the month. Normally we'd have him, but they called and apologized and said they can't make it this week. So maybe we'll try and get him on later in the month. But let's take care of a little business. If you have an auto repair you want to get done, Smart Auto Repair in Whitmore Lake, right on Hall Road, Smart Auto Repair, 810-231-9655. That's 810-231-9655, smartauto@hotmail.com. Sid is a great guy, very honest. He'll fix what needs to be fixed. He won't try and pressure you into doing more than that.
I saw that right in front of my very eyes. There was a customer in front of me, and the lady talked about the check engine light being on, and he says, oh, you know what? I know your vehicle. Ignore that. If it doesn't go away in a week, come back. We'll talk about it.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's nice, right? So they have towing. They haul junk cars for free, and they're located there in Hamburg Township, Whitmore Lake area, 810-231-9655. Call Sid. He's a great guy. All right.
Yeah.
You wanted to start with something, and I think we kind of alleged a little bit in the last couple of weeks. We've had this issue with the school system, right? But you've got an interesting story. Go ahead.
And so I went to my I'd like to congratulate my grandson Devin on graduating this morning. And so we went to the graduation at Eastern, and we're listening to the speakers, and I'm thinking, liberal. And really I was being a politicist. I just imagine they had political views as I'm listening to their voice. They're school administrators, right?
Right.
And so this woman gets up, and she's from Berkeley, and she is, this school superintendent, and she's of a certain color, and she has a degree in urban education, which I don't know what difference education.
Urban or suburban. Yeah.
Exactly, or rural.
Education should be education, right?
So she starts speaking, and she says, I wore my kinta cloths today because of my cultural heritage.
What's a kinta?
I don't know. It reminds me of Kunta Kinte,
so maybe it's
something. It sounds made up to me like Kwanzaa, to tell you the truth. It's some kind. She never said what the fabric was. She was wearing robes and a hat, so it wasn't that. It was the So I don't know. She could have had it on her arm or something. So like it was an Aerosmith concert, but. I remember he used to dance around on stage with the scarves tied to his wrist, regardless. So she has these cloths that go back and show her honoring community for generations past, all the way back to Africa. And now these kids are not all African American, but she's using the term African American. And then she mentions another cloth. She's wearing a Swento cloth or something. I don't know what the spelling is. And she goes on and she starts talking about a sense of community. And remember to take with you the things you've learned in school as you go forward, the things that you've learned about being social. Nothing about the academic learning.
Or being successful or being goal-driven or anything else, right?
Exactly. It was all
typical lib.
Oh, yeah. My kids are looking at me like, are you going to stand up and say something, Dad? So she gets done, and this other guy gets up. This guy gets up now, and he starts talking, and I think he's the president of the school board or something like that. He gets up. He says, well, aren't you glad in the honor of the occasion I did not honor my cultural heritage by wearing my kilt? And then he asks all the veterans in the office, in the audience, to stand up so that the people who helped provide an atmosphere for these kids to get their education in would be honored. And I thought, I like this guy. Okay, he's not a liberal. And the whole tone of his speech after that
was the opposite.
Exactly,
right.
The opposite, and pointed at her. It was enjoyable.
Yeah, crazy. Well, it's good. At least they got both sides, right?
Well, yeah, but that's what our kids are being inculcated in. You know,
Yeah.
it's just
I think we see
get
it
it out
across
of
the
there.
board, right? And I've said it for all the years I've been on radio, and I know you agree. You know what, folks? It's our school system. If you want to save the republic, we need to take back the school system, because another generation of this liberal indoctrination, this social justice indoctrination, there won't be a republic.
right.
So please, folks, if you're a grandparent or you got time on your hands or you're a mom or a dad and you're conservative and you have just plain old common sense, you don't have to be conservative, but just plain old common sense American values, run for school board. Doesn't cost you much. You could probably win if you spend a little bit of money and get out and knock on a few doors.
And if you're in a position geographically, in some cases financially, we've got Go Like the Wind, the Montessori school.
Yeah.
You know, we've got Kensington Kensington schools.
Yep.
They've got the charter school.
Yep.
And look for the advertisement in the Current. And then, of course, we've got the Cheryl Stockwell Preparatory Academy.
Yeah, there's all kinds of
Yeah.
and you can vote with your feet. Schools of choice,
Yep.
even on the public school side. If there's something going on in the school district you don't like, then you can certainly move. I was complaining about my son in Plymouth County
Yes,
School
exactly.
because they're getting a little too much social justice nonsense, if you ask me. But
Oh, and
that's
Donna
me.
X's article is in the Current next month.
For the June issue.
Yes, for
Excellent.
the June issue. Yes.
Okay. Well, you can call into the show, 734-822-1600, or you can email me, Gary@thedailydrift.com, if you're a little shy. Just email me, and we'll read your
We're
comments on the air.
gentle. We know what it's like to be first-time callers. Give it a shot. We won't laugh out loud.
Have I ever been mean to anybody on there?
Yes, but he deserved it, and he wasn't a first-time caller.
I don't know that I take umbrage at that.
I'll play the tape.
All right, so we're going to start out with the Mueller, right? That's probably the biggest story
Yep.
this week. We got tariffs and everything else again, but let's start with Mueller and get this going on here. And we're going to start with Derek. You got track one. Mr. Mueller spent, I think, about 11 minutes doing his little press conference today. And let's hear track one.
The first volume of the report details numerous efforts emanating from Russia to influence the election. This volume includes a discussion of the Trump campaign's response to this activity, as well as our conclusion that there was insufficient evidence to charge a broader conspiracy. And in the second volume, the report describes the results and analysis of our obstruction of justice investigation involving the president. The order appointing me special counsel authorized us to investigate actions that could obstruct the investigation. And we conducted that investigation, and we kept the Office of the Acting Attorney General apprised of the progress of our work. And as set forth in the report, after that investigation, if we had had confidence that the president clearly did not commit a crime, we would have said so. We did not, however, make a determination as to whether the president did commit a crime.
Okay. So, kind of puts that out there that we didn't charge him, but I'm not saying there didn't.
It's a new legal
anything.
standard.
Yeah, exoneration. It's not a prosecutor's job to exonerate anybody. I don't care if it's the prosecutor on a drunk driving charge in Westland or if it's Special Prosecutor Bob Mueller in Washington, D.C., investigating the president or whoever he wants. Your job is to, A, find evidence, and B, indict. No
Or
evidence.
shut up.
And shut up otherwise.
Yeah.
We don't want your opinion, sir.
Well,
we want you to find evidence and indict.
I like what Dan Bongino said on Tucker last night. I just stolen it myself, but other people would know I did. And he says, we have a new, we have guilty, we have not guilty, and now we have not guilty.
Yeah.
And I thought about this before. Was Mueller wrong? He can't pronounce him innocent, okay? But then again, we're all innocent before proven guilty. We have to remember that is our code. You may know somebody did something, and in your heart, you say, they're guilty. but out loud, you got to say they're innocent.
Right.
That's the way it works.
To his credit, during that 11 minutes, I don't have the cut here, but he did start out right near the beginning saying we are all innocent until proven guilty. So that was in there. I sat and watched it again this morning and went, oh, well, he did say it. But then why do you backtrack and kind of throw everyone under the bus and open this impeachment thing? Fine. Go ahead, impeach. I love how the Democrats say, we're going to impeach, and even these pundits, oh, yeah, it'll keep Trump from being elected. No, I'm sorry. Impeachment in the House means nothing.
Yeah, not with the Senate we have.
The Senate is not going to follow through it. Go ahead and impeach. The only thing you're going to do is ensure that we take the House back on the Republican side in 2020. So please.
I'm all about that.
Absolutely. Go ahead and waste another year on that because you've wasted all this time so far on investigation. Nancy Pelosi, knock yourself out, woman. Go ahead and try.
She might, the way she flails her hands around, she might knock herself out. I'm looking for that. Bunk. Oh, my.
All right, but here's another. So, Derek, you got track too? This is Bob ending. I call him Smear Job Bob. That's my hashtag, right? Smear Job Bob. Go ahead and play track.
That's very Trump-like of you.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
And from them, we concluded that we would not reach a determination, one way or the other, about whether the president committed a crime. That is the office's final position, and we will not comment on any other conclusions or hypotheticals about the president.
Can we back that up?
We conducted an independent criminal investigation and reported the results to the Attorney General, as required by department regulations. The Attorney General then concluded that it was appropriate to provide our report to Congress and to the American people.
This is important right here.
At one point in time, I requested that certain portions of the report be released. The Attorney General preferred to make the entire report public all at once, and we appreciate that the Attorney General made the report largely public, and I certainly do not question the Attorney General's good faith in that decision.
More public than he
Now, I hope
wanted.
and expect this to be the only time that I will speak to you in this manner. I am making that decision myself. No one has told me whether I can or should testify or speak further about this matter. There has been discussion about an appearance before Congress. Any testimony from this office would not go beyond our report. It contains our findings and analysis and the reasons for the decisions we made. We chose those words carefully, and the work speaks for itself. And the report is my testimony. I would not provide information beyond that which is already public in any appearance before Congress.
Okay.
His opening words confused me for a second there.
Can you play that back, Derek, the beginning of that one more time?
Till I ask you to stop.
He's going to need a minute.
Right.
Here's my thoughts on this, though. He wrote down, carefully worded this. It's in the report. I will not speak any more or beyond the scope of what is in the report. I can see him if they subpoena him coming up and he'll say, you'll have to go to page whatever, or you'll have to look at the report for this. He's not going to go any farther. Do you think he's lawyered up?
Oh, I hope so, for his sake.
I believe.
More than one.
I believe
because
Mr.
he's
Mueller
one.
has a whole set of lawyers who have said, shut up, say nothing more, because your neck is on the line here.
But who told him to go speak anyhow? I don't understand that. And obviously the Justice Department, our AG, gave him the aegis to speak in front of the Justice Department podium, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just, what? What?
You know what? I think Barr is doing the right thing. Let him hang himself. And I think he was very
Well, I don't
measured
think it's his
in
intent to do the right thing.
Oh, no. This is him trying to say, put enough doubt out there to allow the Democrats to continue this impeachment nonsense to try and affect the next election, which is what they're doing.
It's
They're
Comey 2.0.
Yes, they're just trying to affect the next election. And I think what you're going to see here is Barr's going to go after him. They're going to find out. If you've been watching any of these interviews with Barr, he's playing it very close to the vest, right? He's not saying, I can't say any more. He's going to find out when Mueller knew that there was no collusion. Was it right at the very beginning?
Well, that's the first thing the